I'm your host, William King, aka The Boss. (7:01), the 16th of February, and it's about 21 below. I think this is the coldest I've ever experienced. Uh, yeah, it hasn't been this cold. I wasn't living in the 1800s. This is the record back in the 1800s, so it's cold. I wonder how they survived back then, man. They had no heat out in the prairie, man. We don't know how blessed we got it, man, but it's still cold, man. Are we blessed? And I think we are. If you're alive, we are still blessed. Make sure you guys uh, stay in today. Stay in, stay in. If you do have to go outside, it's going to be the warmest is probably going to be around 3 or 4 o'clock. It's going to be around um, 5 degrees or something like that, 5 below. And so that might be the best time to start your car up. It's cold outside, and so I had to test it. In my face. Oh man, my face. You can feel it real. You can feel it real quick. You can feel your face like almost freezing, real, real quick. So you can't be out there, y'all. You cannot be out there unless you are a professional. For real, this is professional weather. Even the professionals are shutting it down because I think the wind chill is around 40 below, but the air temperature right now is around 21 below. And so even my hands were getting cold in my gloves. Now I do got long johns on, got some jeans on. Of course, you got the socks on, you got the boots on, got the wool jacket on. And man, man, it's cold. It's really cold outside. And so I would advise people do not go outside today. Do not go outside at all today. Um, if you are a professional, professionals do this. But man, um, there's no need to go outside if you don't have to go outside because man, it's I've never experienced this kind of cold, and I'm from here. You know, I've been below zero before, but ooh, this is on a whole different level. So today is Tell the Truth Tuesday. We want you guys to be proactive on telling the truth, but also receiving the truth today. Oh yeah, there's nothing wrong with constructive criticism. That's a sign of love, without a doubt. We're gonna play a speech today by Shirley Chisholm. She is the first uh, African American congresswoman, and she uh, is the first Black woman to uh, put in put in her bid for presidency. And so we have a speech by her. It's back in 1972. She's over at UCLA, May 22nd. I wish it was May around here. But we're gonna play some Shirley Chisholm. It is Black History Month. Our contribution is, playing those that have or are contributing to the freedom of those that need freedom. And so we want to make sure that those that don't know of our contribution, but also we want our people to know about our contribution. A lot of this aren't being taught in the history books, and so we want to make sure that we get this information out. And so, again, this is Shirley Chisholm. We're going to be listening to her shortly, but I just want to get everything queued up. It's 7:06. I started everything on time. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So be careful out there. Be careful out there. Without doubt, if you are in an emergency situation, you can call 211. 211 is the emergency number for anything that's domestic. So if you are dealing with utility problems, um, make sure you call MUD or OOPD. I know OPPD, and I know they're out there on the job. Also, they're going to be rolling blackouts. I know a lot of people have modified the temperatures in the house. I modified mine. Well, actually, my furnace is still not, it's still struggling. And so I encourage you guys to modify your temperature down to like 70. If everybody modified their temperature overall, then there'll be less blackouts for everyone. And so this is a collective thing. And this again is a love thy neighbor. It's a love thy neighbor move. Don't be in your house. Yeah, the temperature up to 90 degrees. So uh, in order to avoid a blackout, everyone had to lower their temperatures a few degrees. I think around 70 degrees, 68, between 68 to 70 degrees. They always recommend around 72. Um, but to modify that, get some blankets out, space heaters. Again, we got to be careful with those. There's already been some fires already. I talked about that yesterday. We got people trying to heat pipes with a blowing torch. I mean, you shouldn't use fire inside your house unless it's a gas stove. But even with gas stove, they recommend that there's some ventilation. Uh, I have a gas stove, and so my mama she do it old school. Turn the oven on and turn the eyes on the gas stove, and that'll heat. However, we got to worry about carbon monoxide and that gas, killing potentially killing your family. I experienced that uh, as a young married couple. Carbon monoxide poisoning, and it's for real. And so even with our furnace, with our gas stove, we got to be conscientious and wise. So if you're feeling like you're sleepy or lethargic, if you're having a headache, um, or if you're smelling gas, call MUD. Or if you're having those symptoms, make sure you call the fire department because it's a very serious gas. You can't smell it. The only symptoms, it'll make you sleepy. It'll give you a slight headache. And so I want you guys to be cautious because this is an experience that I had with my family. And we survived it mainly because I'm a night owl. And so I was able to get everybody out the house. And so this is a crucial time where people can perish. And so um, let's be wise in our decision making as we stay warm. So Let's put a few more socks on. Let's put our warm ups on. Get our long johns on. I mean, y'all at home anywhere. Ain't nobody gonna see what y'all look like. Your hair probably ain't combed anywhere. Yeah, I know your hair. I know your hair is not combed right now. Some of y'all probably I didn't wash your face because y'all white collar. Y'all at home by yourself. So you have options. So those options include, modifying our heat. So our overall grid, uh, which has been running, excuse me, running overload for like the last 14 days because it's been cold that long. This week has been even colder. Um, this is Inshallah, which means God willing that this is the last day of that level. My man Melvin Triplett, thank you for the update. He said that ABC have reported that Omaha is the coldest place in America. Without a doubt, we are the coldest place in America. Thank you, brother Triplett, for passing me the ball. I beat you in 1-on-1. I'll be letting people. I'll let you tell that story, brother Triplett. If you want to rematch, brother Triplett, we can put it on streaming video so we can let the world see that I'm taking Melvin Triplett to the cut. But thank you for the update, Melvin Triplett. I had a flashback. To you. I am the greatest dunker. Omaha, Nebraska, the Burbs, the Bluffs. If you guys didn't know that, William King is the greatest dunker in Nebraska, without a doubt. And so, just let you know, ABC said that Omaha, Nebraska is the coldest place in America right now. That's why we call ONE, for a particular reason. We're number one. I don't want to be number one. Like Johnny Carson goes like this, man, I wasn't, do you think hell is hot or cold? Because you can survive in the heat, but if you go outside in that cold, you're not surviving. You're not surviving. I think hell is cold. I think hell is cold. God's gonna keep you in an eternal cold where you cannot get comfortable. Brother Melvin said, it's Tell the Truth Tuesday. It is Tell the Truth Tuesday, Brother Melvin. My bad. Well, Brother Melvin, he did beat me. I had to tell the truth. We're here. We modify our behavior here at 95.7. Today is Tell the Truth. That means we tell the truth as well as we accept the truth. Lord have mercy. Brother Melvin made me tell the truth. He did beat me, but Brother Melvin, I want a rematch. I'm 55, no jive. Bring your game on. And then we'll stream it. Let the world see. Let the world see the greatest dunker in Nebraska get the work done. All right? Omaha, Nebraska. It is chilly outside. It's 7:15 in the morning. It is the 15th of February. Excuse me, the 16th of February. Omaha, Nebraska is the coldest city in America right now. Yes, without a doubt, in America. I think they said, but I thought they reported Norfolk is colder. I thought I seen Norfolk was colder, and it might be a particular reason. I don't know if you guys know this, and I'm not too happy with our brothers and sisters up in Norfolk, Nebraska. Our Northwest High School basketball team had a game up in Norfolk, and the students would call the N word. Yes, in Norfolk, Nebraska this past weekend. I got the reports. Yes, I got the reports, and you know what my sister would have did, and so this is what leadership would have done, and this is why I'm running for mayor of Omaha. And see, if I would have heard this kind of stuff, I'll give you an example of reason why I'm like this. When I was in college, and for those um, sometimes um, you know you really don't get to know your leadership, but you're gonna get to know me for sure. When I was in college, I was all conference in basketball. I think my junior year I was second team all conference. My senior year I was first team all conference. Um, I think my sophomore year I started, and I think I was honorable mention all conference NAIA in Nebraska. I was honorable mention all district, which is all, and that includes Nebraska players, Creighton players, Kearney. My senior year, but they wouldn't put my picture in Fremont Tribune. Yes, Fremont Tribune, the current city that will not allow the undocumented to work there or live there. They have legislation there. Now, this city back in 1987, they'll put, you know, my teammates' picture in there, and I was the only black on the team. So, you know, being a young man at then 20 years old in 1987, going to school with blacks that never went to school with whites because they were from Washington, D.C. or Chicago or Denver. And I went to school with whites that never went to school with blacks who were from Wahoo, Meade, et cetera, et cetera. But here in Omaha, I was culturalized. You know, what I mean, I've always went to school with white kids. I mean, my best friend Wayne Cox, he white. You know, his mom is white, his dad is black, but he came out white. All his other brothers and sisters came out like mulatto. So we've been friends since Howard Kennedy. It's always been culturalized. So I've always been able to solve problems or bridge gaps, but especially when it comes to racial issues, especially in Fremont, Nebraska, from 1983 to 1987, when you know racism was still on a high level. So what I did, even though they didn't put my picture in the Fremont Tribune, what I did was I just wrote a sign saying that my roommate picture has never been in the Fremont Tribune. I put my number on it, and my roommate, my best friend, the first person I met at Midland College, Townsend Hunt, and the black student body held it up, held that sign up, and protested while I played basketball. And an actual game. My mom was there, my sister was there, brother-in-law. So sometimes when you deal with racism, you got to use intelligent means in order to first bring attention to it, but also devise a solution to solve it. Of course, the game continued. The black student body protested. I'm out there on the basketball court killing them. I think I had about 29 that night. Afterwards, my sister got involved. The Omaha NAACP got involved. They put pressure on the Fremont Tribune. In the last game of my senior year, they put my picture in the Fremont Tribune. Now, I was a 20-year-old kid in the dorm room over in men's trying to um, come up with a strategy to bring attention to racism, especially being the only black on an all-white team, but just the racism in the media, period, by them not wanting to put a black face in their newspaper. And so this is why I do what I do. And it has happened again. We have Norfolk, Nebraska. We got them calling our student bodies from Northwest High School. We're up there to play basketball for sportsmanship, but they get called the N word. They get called the N word. And so I just want to make sure that we keep the dialogue of race. I want to make sure that we continue the dialogue because obviously our brothers and sisters up in Norfolk need to be educated. So let's take maybe a different approach. I know we angry, and sometimes I don't take ownership of the word. However, I know the word has historical torture attached to it. And for our own black people to use it, it's really hypocritical and it shows a lack of respect for our ancestors. I know y'all making money off of it. I know it's part of our culture now, but we got to look at the root of the word. You got to look at the root of the word. Someone that justifies says kings, you mean kings and queens. But in America, it has been attached with slavery. And for Norfolk, Nebraska, the student body of Norfolk, Nebraska, to feel emboldened, comfortable in treating Northwest High School basketball team like they are the Jackie Robinsons or the Jim Browns or the Jack Johnsons. Today again is Tell the Truth Tuesday. I know it's tough. I know it's cold outside, but I gotta hopefully that heats you up because I know we got some. Nebraska did vote. About 200 some thousand people did vote that they wanted to keep language of slavery on the Nebraska Constitution, and it is Black History Month, y'all. So I to my brothers and sisters of all colors, of all hue, HUE. Sometimes you got to get a teaching lesson from the teacher, without a doubt. You're not gonna get this at any other radio station. We are a research radio station, the first of its kind. We are not going to waste our airways on ignorance. Our goal is to prove self, our community, and of course our families. We are in behavioral modification every day. Today is Tell the Truth Tuesday. Already got checked already. What's up, Miss Lewis, Miss Clater? And so, I'm just disappointed, because I have family on that Northwest team, and they call my family the N word. In 2021, live and living color. We just got in 2021, February the 16th, and last week Up in Norfolk, Nebraska, they still calling us the N word. What's up, brothers and sisters up in Northwest? See now, as mayor, I would call this distinguished mayor up in Norfolk and just ask the mayor in Norfolk to let's have a sit down and let's talk about the situation. You know what I mean? For real. You gotta start at the top. You gotta have leadership that's bold, that's willing to change injustice. Even those that's running for um, office or in office. We need someone from Omaha, since we are the the largest body of African and Black Americans live here in Omaha. Sometimes we gotta have our kids back. Sometimes we gotta stand up like men and women. So if you didn't know, I had to let you know. I had to let you know that this kind of behavior is going on. Again, today is Tell the Truth Tuesday, and I just wanted to let you know that the student body of Norfolk, Nebraska, called the athletes, the student athletes, the N word from Northwest High School, and it needs to be addressed. This behavior has happened continuously on the high school level. I remember when South won the state championship, and I think one of the schools. I'm not gonna say the school. They threw out, I think, tacos or something on the field, as disrespect. We allow this, and y'all get mad at our city councilwoman, Miss Colleen Brennan, because she wants to have a conversation on race. I think we need to have a conversation on race because if Norfolk, Nebraska is describing our kids here in Omaha, particularly Northwest High School basketball team as the N word, then we need to address that. That needs to be addressed. I don't know on what level. I know back when I was going through my situation, the NAACP got involved. It's a school situation. Maybe hopefully the school is addressing it. I know the school, uh, they handle stuff internally, and so hopefully they're handling it internally. But I just want you to know as a community what's going on, and the need for continuous talk about race relations. All right. So I'm going to play a speech from Shirley Chisholm. She's at UCLA. She's the first Black congresswoman, but also she's the first Black woman to run for presidency. This speech is from May 22nd, uh, 1972. She's at UCLA, and this is from the UCLA Communication Studies Archive. All right, so we're gonna get it to our sister, and I'm gonna let you guys listen to it. This speech is probably about 50 minutes, so chill with me for a little bit. We might play all of it. I might play half of it. Boss with me. Not too interested. You see, they give you the appeasement. They're not too concerned about people.
Good afternoon, and welcome to our program. Today, we're delighted to have with us Shirley Chisholm, candidate for the Democratic presidential nomination. She's the first Black woman to be elected to Congress, and parenthetically, there are only 10 Blacks in Congress, an institution that labels itself representative. Ms. Chisholm is an advocate of such reforms as volunteer army, lessening of the penalties for possession of marijuana, and equalization of rights for women. Ms. Chisholm has proven to be a progressive mind in an institution replete with antiquities. Would you please give a warm welcome to Shirley Chisholm?
Testing. Yeah. Students, I'm very glad to be here this afternoon. And by now, all of you know why I am in the state of California. But let me go back 7 months ago and try to come right up to date. About 7 months ago, a large number of persons in this country, crossing sex lines, color lines, and ideological lines, asked me to consider seriously making a bid for the presidency of the United States of America. And in the very beginning, to be frank with you, I laughed because I was cognizant of the fact that being simultaneously a Black person and a woman placed me in the position of being a part of two segments in America who have never had any real roles to play in terms of the decision-making processes and policies that govern our lives. And I indicated to many of these people that if indeed they were serious, it was very necessary for them to go back and do at least two things to make me feel that it was not really just a little game or it was not really a plan to flatter my vanity. And that was that they had to go back and to start to raise money for me to enter some of the primaries, supplemented by putting together mechanisms for the distribution of literature and for carrying my message to the people in this country. And I found that within 5 weeks' time, in 25 states of this country, that people were serious about Shirley Chisholm making a bid for the presidency because they did not want to play politics as usual. They did not want to continue to make a selection between the lesser of the two evils. They didn't want to pull the lever beside the names of those individuals who have been a part of the national leadership team in this country for the past 8 years and has brought this country to the malaise in which it finds itself. But they wanted to pull the lever beside the name of somebody that would bring new input, would bring a new circulation in the bloodstream of this country, somebody who does not equivocate, and yes, somebody who has morality and an integrity of purpose in the political arena. And I said, yes, I would run. I would run realizing all of the controversies that would swirl about my head. But when you are a catalyst for change in any society, you have to be prepared to take the insults, the abuses, the misapprehensions, the skeptics, those who are not ready for change. You have to be prepared to take all of these kinds of situations that will immediately develop when you go against a tradition in this country. A tradition that has said ever since the inception of the Republic that only one segment of America can run and hope to aspire to be the chief executive of this nation, and that is a white male. And not only in terms of the chief executive of this nation, but also in terms of vice presidents and heads of departments and heads of agencies and ambassadors and consul generals. You name it, and I'll tell it to you. Only one segment of America seems practically to be able to have the creativity, the input, and the ability to solve so many of the problems of this country. And yet we look at this country today and look at the mess that we are in. It is time for new blood. And as I've been traveling up and down this land, it is so interesting to see what has developed and what continues to develop. First of all, I am so sick and tired of hearing the question, Mrs. Chisholm, are you serious? Now, if I stood on my head, a lot of people would still not believe that I'm serious. I've been traveling up and down this country for 7 months, and I can tell you I'm not traveling for my health. I am traveling because they've told me in America that if indeed you are serious, you don't sit back like a reluctant drag and expect somebody's going to give you the nomination. You get out and at least get to the American people in the highways, the byways, the villages, the towns, and the cities and say, hey, look, here I am. Look at me in terms of what I can do if I leave this nation. So I've been traveling. And even though I have been traveling, for people to still ask, are you serious, is an indication of the prescribed roles that this society has given to women and the prescribed roles that this society has given to blacks. And here I come, a part of both of these prescribed roles, going out here saying I'm running for the presidency of this country. Now this country's in a mess. And we better get off this sex hang-up that we have. I've traveled a great deal, and I've never seen a place where people are so hung up on sex, physically, psychologically, education, than in the good old USA. Now this country needs to rely more on humanism. This country needs the talents, the intellect, and the capabilities of human beings. We are all human beings, first of all. There are brilliant women in this country. There are brilliant men. There's stupid women and there's stupid men. There's no psychological test yet that says one sex has the superiority of great cranial matter over the other sex. The fact of the matter is we're allowing ourselves to be diverted from the course in this country. And that course is that we better get together and find out if we can't redirect the priorities in this nation to make this nation become the bulwark that it can truly become, and that is a haven for all kinds of people, regardless of race, color, creed, or sex. That's what we need to do in America today. I'm no ordinary woman running out here for president. Before I even went to the United States Congress, I knew I would have to be 2, 3, or 4 times as good as many of those gentlemen in the Congress because of who I am. I'm aware of double and triple standards, so I make sure that I fix the standards before I get out here. For over 15 years of my life, I have been writing projects and all kinds of proposals for gentlemen, both black and white. For over 15 years of my life in politics in the streets of New York, I have been the translator and interpreter as they would go around addressing the people because they could only speak English if they could handle that well. For over 15 years of my life, I have been the organizer of people to make them look good at city council hearings and budget estimate hearings. I'm a woman that holds 3 college degrees and 10 points for a PhD. I'm not here to boast to you, but I'm just a little bit sick and tired of people not looking at me in terms of my humanity and my capabilities. It is one thing for people to use the talents that you have. It is another thing to let you be the standard bearer. And that's why I'm out here. I knew I would get a lot of laugh and snide remarks, but I've always gotten that from the day I was born because I'm black. So I'm used to that. But the time has come in this country when if you keep talking about the American dream and the multifacetedness of this society, and you want to get this society together, you better begin to realize that it's time for new input even on the national level. Here I look at all of my opponents who are running with me to secure the nomination. Let's talk about it a little bit. All of these fine gentlemen, all of these senators, they have been in positions of power for quite some time, and in one way or another, with the exception of one gentleman, have been a part of what constituted a kind of national leadership in this country. They don't have any commitment to people. They have commitment to people every 4 years when it's time to get the vote. If they had a commitment to people and compassion and concern for the people in this country, why haven't they been able yet to do something about the Indians on the reservations of this country? Reservations where the land is barren and they cannot grow any kind of food to sustain and keep their bodies together. And yet this country belongs to the American Indian. And over 70% of the Indians on the reservation do not live to see the age of 40. Where have these voices been in terms of that? And then you get a token Indian on your staff, and you're going to have a project for Indians when you get elected, because this is the way the politics in this country runs. You get token people around you when you're going out on the national election to tell the people suddenly how great thou art and what you're going to do to save them. Fraud, sham, and hypocrisy. You take the Chicano people in the southwestern part of this country, in New Mexico and California and Texas, I've been visiting with them and watching them. These people working sometimes 14 and 15 hours a day to put the fruits and the vegetables on our table so that we can eat well. And at the end of a week, they don't even get a decent salary to keep their families together. Where have these senators been? And now they're going to get the endorsement of certain big Chicanos. Well, that's the way it's done. I'm not going to get endorsements of big Chicanos, big blacks, and what have you, because I'm too gutsy. I do not believe in the politics of expediency. That is why our country finds itself in the condition that it now finds itself. Nothing but expedient politics. And every 4 years we come out of our cobweb political holes. And we get the Madison Avenue boys to put it together a little bit differently. We get the jingles and the slogans ready to flash across the screen in your bedrooms and living rooms at night. And you have the responsibility of deciding after all of this is thrust upon you, which one of them you're going to vote for on June 6th. But if you don't want change, really, if you like how they do it every 4 years, and if you like the same warmed over, heated over, boiled over politicians coming back, telling you they're going to save everybody, go and vote for them. But when they get in office, don't grumble. Don't grumble. I know too much about every one of them. I want to get in some public debates the worst way with them, because I know where every one of them are coming from. I'm sorry that I don't have a lot of money. One of them said if Shirley Chisholm had money, we would have to scurry for cover. You're darn right there would. The only thing I have out here is people who understand what I am doing and who have a commitment to me in terms of trying to bring about change within the system. Because so many young people told me as I was going on this trek, Chizzy, forget about it. You can't bring about any change within this system. Get out and lead a new movement. You have enough people in this country that see you as a new kind of national voice. Get out of the system. And I'm willing to tell these young people, give me a chance to try it this time. Come with me on the Chisholm Trail. Now look, either we want change or we like the idea about talking about change. You know? Because if we want change, we will give Mrs. Chisholm a chance. I've never been to you before. But of course, if you have a hang up because I am black and you're racist, you know, you can't handle that because that tells something about the depths. If you have a hang up, you're sexist because I'm a woman. The stage of my life, my bones are so fixed and what have you, I can't go to Denmark and get an operation. But if you have a hang up because you have been disillusioned, set up with politics as usual, business as usual, the same old baloney every 4 years, an American man or American woman can't even run for the presidency of this country if they really have ability, unless they have loads of money behind them. Where is this country therefore going to get the creativity and the intellectual capacity and new innovative ideas unless we do something about the whole system of electing a president? To have people running for the presidency that do not even have to be too bright mentally or intellectually, but have the money to have the accessibility and availability to speech writers and the boys putting them together and then having them come before you with the speech in front of them. God help them if they're outdoors and the wind blows that speech away. They can't even talk. But that is the way it is, young people in our country, that unless you have loads of money, that you can't even think of running for the presidency. To have traveled with them in Florida, in North Carolina, in Michigan, and watched them, sometimes going in before some of them and after some of them, to see how they can move from one issue to another issue and have 10 different positions in the same state, dependent on the section of the state. No wonder people distrust our political leaders because they do nothing but talk with forked tongue. A little bit about the issues, because I want to show you how they stand on issues. I'll show you how beautiful they evade a lot of things. In this country, we've had a war that's been going on now for 8 years. Over 50,000 lives have been lost. All kinds of military personnel and investigatory committees have come back and have said, this is a war that we cannot win. And over 65% of the American people have said, we want out. And yet, in spite of these reports, in spite of the representatives that we have to represent us on the legislative and executive level of this country, they pay absolutely no attention to us. And yet this is supposed to be government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So if that is supposed to be the case, what's happening? Haven't we said we want out? But you know, you can't get a chief executive to get you out unless you understand the nature of power in this country, which relegates the masses to the bottom of the priority list. And the fact of the matter is that as all of these fellas are out here running to get elected and they say we're going to get out of the war, if you want to be sure that we will get out of the war, you better elect me president. Because you see, I am not espoused by labor interests, by military industrial complex interests, by corporate interests, by banking interests. He who pays the piper calls the tune. That is why people are distrusting our politicians. Because by the time they get to the White House, they have to take care of other interests first before they begin to take care of the interests of the American people. I am the only real people's politician running for this important office. I'm not hooked into any kind of groups. I don't have to call top level conferences or have long distance telephone calls to do what has to be done in terms of what my conscience tells me must be done to do something about the malaise that creeps across this land. Because I'm not hooked into anybody. The fact of the matter is, when I went into the Appalachia region of this country and went in and saw how some of the poor whites were living, it was such a surprise for them to see me coming out of a two-seater plane to see them. And that was before I decided to run for president. I want you to know how deeply committed I am to humanity. I didn't suddenly go out there because I'm running for president. I've been visiting with the Indians and these people for years now. And to go out there and to see how these people are living, the reason they're surprised is that I'm a black woman. And secondly, they haven't seen a politician in 50 years, but they vote for politicians every 2 and every 4 years. Well, why should they see a politician? Because they're not really important. Nobody cares about them. And for me to go and say to them, what difference does it make if you are white and the people down the block from you are black? Both of you are living in homes with dirt floors. Look, you don't have even wooden floors. So you're white and they're black. So what's the difference? Both of you still don't get 2 or 3 good meals a day. So you're white and they're black. And both of you lack modern plumbing, sanitary facilities. So you're white and they're black. Both of you are have-nots. You better get together. Man's humanity to man has gone right out the window in this country. It has been going out for a long time, but we are now at the peak of man's humanity to man. Never before in this country since the inception of the Republic have you seen so many segments of this society simultaneously lashing out at something, at somebody. Everybody's mad. Blacks have roared out of their slumber asking for their unequivocal share of the American dream that everybody has been mouthing and frothing for time immemorial. The Indians are now saying, look, this is my land too. Get me off these reservations or I stake out my claims in other places in this country. The colonies are saying, look, don't come giving me any more rhetoric about the multifaceted society and democracy and what have you. Give me a wage that I can live and keep my family together. The young people of this country are fed up with a lot of the values and the priorities in a nation that says it's a multifaceted society. It believes in the brotherhood of man, the concept of democracy, and all of the beautiful things written in our Declaration of Independence and our United States Constitution, and yet today, nothing but rhetoric and fraudings and gibberish every 4 years. Yes, I tell it like it is. It's got to be told like it is because we have been operating in this country under the basis of so much sham and hypocrisy, and it's catching up with us real fast. The American people wanting out of this war, and look at you, just look at you, marching till you're crazy. Having all kinds of moratoriums and vigils, doing everything possible, and yet they don't hear us. It means that they don't really have to listen to you because you have not made politics important enough in your life. Like the Swedes and the English and the Italians get all excited about their politics. You haven't made it important enough to begin to start doing something about it on the local level and on the state level and pulling out all those congressmen who are constantly helping to give the authorizations and appropriations for the continuation of this Holocaust in Vietnam. You have abdicated your citizenship rights and responsibility because you're fed up. You have said it's no use. I don't want to be bothered with the system. So therefore, by abdicating that, you get what you deserve. You have the power. You have the power to change it, let me tell you. And particularly you 18 to 21-year-olds now, don't go out here for heaven's sake and just give your vote to somebody because he's a good Democrat or he's handsome or he talks nicely or he'll do this and do. Study the record. Study the record of these men for the past 8 years, if you will, to see if they have this commitment that they're all talking about. And you will find that they really don't have this commitment if you take time to study the record for 8 or 10 years. But what you do, you get caught up with how the jingles and the slogans are put together and how the people supporting certain candidates come into the community and open up all the storefronts and everything that goes with a regular political game. You get caught. You go along. You go along, that's your business. Every man and woman in this country who can vote has a right to cast their ballot for the individual that they really believe will guide this ship of state in terms of the direction that it needs to be guided. I can tell you fully well, without being modest about it at all, that if I were not black, and I were not a woman, and I was a white male, I would get much more attention in terms of what I'm doing in this country at this hour. But c'est la vie. To look at the position of this country in terms of the espousal of equalitarian principles. Millions of dollars of taxpayers' money going abroad for economic and or financial assistance to prop up a bunch of military dictatorships who are repressing and suppressing the personal liberties of their own citizens within their own borders. Espousal of equalitarian principles. You know, we get away with a lot of verbal Tommy rot in our country. What happens to these equalitarian principles in terms of other peoples abroad when the dollar gets in the way? You know what happens, and I know what happens. When I become president, I'm not going to say if, when I become president, I would cut off every bit of your money, not my money, your money, to countries that are propping up these dictatorships and repressing and suppressing their own people. That is if you believe in democracy. That is if you believe in democracy. A lot of the others talk about it, but they can't do it. That's another story. We look at our country in the United Nations. The whole question of the Rhodesian sanctions. Everybody else is falling except us. The whole question of South Africa constantly being ruled, the majority being ruled by a white minority. Repression such as you've never seen it and never believed it in your life. And what do we do in the United Nations? We abstain or we vote negatively, and we espouse democratic principles. The hypocrisy. Now you can really understand why the corporate interest wouldn't back me. Why the banking interest wouldn't back me. You see the interconnection? Therefore, you can understand why the establishment would never want to see a person like me in the White House. Because I tell you, the first thing when we get into that White House, if we have a commitment to the multifacetedness of America, the first thing would be, it would no longer be the White House. It would be the polka dot house. The dream that everyone speaks about must become a reality, young people. Don't you follow what your mothers and your fathers and the older generation have been doing, constantly mouthing the words about the dream and not helping it to become a reality, young people. You're going to be taking over the guidance of this country in the future. Please have a gut commitment to the dream becoming a reality before it is too late. The time is coming in this country when we must have a government that's reflective of all of the different segments of America. What's wrong with a black person for vice president? An Indian for the head of the Department of Interior, and a woman for the head of HEW. What's wrong with it? That is a multifaceted society. That is the dream. The dream come true. Although I'm literally and figuratively the dark horse, I think I'm beginning to help give a few ponies a push. This morning I see a particular candidate, all of a sudden he's going to have a Mexican American in his cabinet. Stealing my thunder. Fantastic. I want to say these things to you in conclusion. Oh, there's so many things I'd like to say to you. It would take me about 3 hours. So I want to teach you. I'm a teacher by profession. There's so many things I'd like to teach you. But let me say this. The next 2 weeks in California, there's going to be a lot of hitting below the belt. Because over 250 votes are at stake in this state. And they have the feeling and the idea that, for example, if Shirley Chisholm gets out of the California primary because she can't win, she gets out, that one of the two so-called front runners will have it locked up more or less, and the convention would be a fait accompli before we get to Miami. No more of that. The American people, for the first time this year, are going to have the opportunity to go to that convention and actually participate. For the first time in this country, you're going to have a convention that's representative of the American people. There are going to be lots of black folks there, lots of women folk, lots of young folk. Do you know that prior to this time, the convention was usually 70% white male, 50 years of age or over, and that was the convention that selected the president? But now that we have this broadened base, all of a sudden, they're not too interested. You see, they give you the appeasement. They're not too concerned about people going to the convention and still actually participating. They want it to be a fait accompli before you get there. And so you pay your plane fare, and you pay for your hotel rent, and you pay for your food. And when you get there, you have the feeling that you're participating when you're not participating in nothing. Just going through ritual. Well, I tell you something. Who want to vote for me? Vote for me. Let the people make their choice in California on January 6th. We're going to get the idea that either GMCG or HHH is going to be the nominee. There was another gentleman that was frightening everybody a while back. He had a lot of big name endorsers and a lot of money in back of him. The thing that they say you need to get across the top. Big name endorsers and money. And something happened to him on his way to the White House. Now don't any of you sit in this room and think that because these so-called two front runners have it sold up. I'm the national committee woman from the state of New York, and I'm sitting in on a lot of things, and I can tell you it's all but sold up. It's not sold up. And it's not going to be sold up. That's why they want me out of this race. I'm not going anyplace. Same old story. Last hired, first fired. When I got into this race, even at the very beginning, young people, Even when I was speaking number 2 in many of the regional caucuses in the northeastern section of this country, they had the nerve to tell me, you are breaking up the liberal vote. You're going to get Nixon back in the White House. Why don't you get out? And even when McCarthy and John Lindsay weren't speaking in some areas the way I was speaking, they never asked one of the two of them to get out because it's the same old story in America. If you're not white and if you're not male, you have no right to be in any kind of race. But I tell you, I intend to be in this race in California because I want change. I don't want anybody talking to me about any more change. I want change. I want to put the liberals on the line, if you will. And whether or not I'm able to secure the nomination, the fact of the matter is to be able to go to that convention and to know that so many thousand people in the state of California wanted Shirley Chisholm to be the new kind of leader in this country. That will give me the strength in terms of saying to the big boys, you know, this is my following. Because we're not going to elect anybody's president at the Democratic Convention on the first 2 or 3 ballots. Let me tell you that. All of us are going to be there maneuvering and negotiating and what have you. But they want to put it together very fast. They must put it together very fast. Because 2 bits of information have come out. And it's coming from the southern part of this country. All of these blacks and all of these women coming to the convention, what are we going to do? They must control the convention before it actually gets underway, because they don't know what they're going to do with all these blacks and all of these women who are not hooked into their political patronage system. Don't you see what they're trying to do? So I say to you, if you want change and you don't want business as usual, you will give me a chance on June 6th here in California. Remember, it took a little black woman to bring 300 of her people out of bondage. It took another little black woman a few years ago just to get up and say that she was sick and tired of going to the back of the bus, and she caused a certain fuss in the civil rights movement of this nation. Strange as it may seem, it may just take a black woman to bring all of us together.
Willing to answer some questions?
Yes.
You're great.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I would like to say thank you so much, and I'd like to give you an opportunity to ask a few questions. So the microphone's on either side, and I'll get some water meanwhile. You do not, the questions that you ask do not necessarily have to pertain to the remarks I've just shared with you.
Is this mic on? There's one basic thing that puzzles me about everything that you talked about. It's a thing that you seem to have in common with all the rest of the candidates, especially in the Democratic Party. And that is not talking much about the nature of that institution. And in an institution that's filled with people like Wallace and Chicken Maddox and Shoot to Kill Bailey and E.C. Mott himself, the father of General Motors, and a Clark Clifford who's on the social register, and with all kinds of studies being done by the nature of that institution being a terribly undemocratic institution run from the top with contradictions throughout it and tailor-made to maintain the status quo, a kind of thing that Malcolm referred to when talking about the Democratic Party, as a chicken that can't lay duck eggs. You cannot change an institution that is handmade to oppress people, that is run undemocratically from the top and is full of racists, sexists, and bigots and exploiters. And I don't understand how you propose, given the way that party is organized and the way it runs, to make any change. What are you doing in the Democratic Party?
Strange as it may seem, although I'm a part of a minority, an oppressed and repressed minority in this country, I do not measure this country by its achievements, young man. Never have. I measure this country by its potential. I still think that this country can be made to be more responsive, but we have not been able to have the kind of shaking up and turning around that is necessary. So I'm doing my own thing in my own way. I'm not saying I'm going to be continuing on this path forever, but I'm willing to believe in terms of a lot of things that I have not shared with you this afternoon, that you're going to see some very interesting things occurring at the convention in Miami this July. All of the action will take place within the hall, not outside of the hall. Another thing, we have all kinds of splinter groups in our country saying that, the two-party system is no good, it's dead, and in a sense it is dying. But why don't all of these splinter groups in this country then, therefore, come together with some kind of basic program or basic reformation that the masses will adhere to? You can't have any kind of structure, any kind of institution supposedly being put together for the poor or the masses, unless you're pretty sure that the poor and the masses are going to accept what it is that you're offering. And the history of this country has been indicating and showing me that this hasn't happened yet. But maybe it can happen. This is the challenge. Will all of these splinter groups then on the outside now come together and do something about the Democratic Party and the Republican Party in terms of coming forth with an entirely new kind of institution or new kind of party or what have you? That is the challenge. Because people are not just going to follow people because they're talking loud or because they say that this is no good, it's rotten, it's this, it's that. They've heard that song before. I think what is important, are we who are dissatisfied and disgruntled and upset about the two-party system, and more specifically the Democratic Party, you've been mentioning it to me, are we ready to call together, to call a nationwide convention of all of the different splinter groups that are all over this country, the different parties that are running their own candidates, and say, now look, you and I don't see eye to eye. We have differences of opinion, but can we minimize our own following? Can we minimize our own leadership and put some maximum input into coming up with something that the masses and the people out here are going to say, yes, this is it, we're going with them. That is the challenge. You can't do it any other way. I've been asked by several other splinter groups that are running candidates, what are you doing in this? Why don't you run for us? Why don't you? I've been asked by 4 other groups to consider running, and yet 4 other groups. So what? You've had nothing but splinter groups at conventions running their own candidates and what have you. I'm 47 years of age. I'm not about to go on any more futility trips. Ever since I've been here, wait a minute, don't clap, wait a minute. Before I got into politics, I was on a lot of trips. All futile. And now that I am 47, and maybe I'm a little bit too old, you tell me I'm too old, there ain't much hope for me, I'll be willing to accept it. But I'm not about to go on any more of those futile trips. I'm going to see if, in my own way, what I can't do. And there, as I've said over and over again, I have a few trump cards that I'm not releasing to anybody. And I'm going to see if I can do what it is I have in mind at the convention. And then after the convention is over, I'm not shy. I'll tell you what I'm going to do next. You can't go about asking people to follow you or to change unless you say to the people, now this is why you must change. A, this is the economic program I have. B, this is the social program I have. C, this is the political program I have. People aren't going to change for change's sake. People want change. There's no doubt. They want change in America, want it badly. But we haven't yet been able to come up with some kind of massive movement as such that the masses out here will say, we are ready to go, we're ready to move. That is the biggest challenge to all of us. After this convention is over, I have some other things in mind. Okay? You know, it may not satisfy you, but I got to tell you the way I see it. I just don't want any more futile tricks. And it could take me hours to tell you about some of these futile tricks that I and a few of my people have been on in this country. Yes. I hope to have anywhere from 50 to 65. Let me tell you how I arrived at that figure. Right now I have 18 committed votes. In the uncommitted delegates, I have quite a large number that I don't want to release, but I have quite a large number. Wallace peaked in Florida. He made his thrust in Florida. Humphrey made his thrust in Pennsylvania. Muskie made his thrust in New Hampshire. I haven't made my thrust yet because the thrusts that I will be making are in two states that have late primaries. I'll be picking up the majority of my delegates in my own state on June 20th, the very last primary, and a number in New Jersey on June 6th. That is why I come to this assessment. I hope to be able to go with anything from 50 or better. But let me tell you something, and I mean it. Delegates or no delegates, you're going to be heard from at the convention. That's very definite. Two more questions. The young lady over there, the young lady at the end there. You, yes. Yeah. Huh? I know that he understands because we're talking about humanism, right? All right. I can't hear you. Limited inheritance? You know, to tell you the truth, I haven't even given too much thought to limited inheritance because I knew that in my own case, I would never, have to. No, I'll be honest with you. I haven't given a great deal of thought to, and I will really pursue it. Unlimited inheritance, that's one issue I haven't given a great deal of, and I would really pursue. I don't want to just give you any flippant answer, okay? And forgive me for, saying young lady. I know
yeah. Mrs. Chisholm, there's a microphone over here. Over here on this side.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to address you on something that you didn't bring out in your speech. That is, about 6 weeks ago in Gary, Indiana, there was a very important conference. I understand you weren't there, but the Socialist Workers Party was there with our candidate, Andrew Pulley, who's a black man running for vice president. One of the basic things that came out of this convention was call for the formation of an independent black political party. Now, I'd like to ask you about your stand on the black political party. The Socialist Workers Party is definitely for organizing black people, organizing Chicano people.
Are you on a platform or are you asking me a question, sir?
Yes, I'm asking you a question. Do you support the formation of an independent black political party? And second of all, what's the reason that you're organizing people into this Democratic Party, this capitalist-owned party, the party of Richard Daley, and the party of George Wallace? What's the effectiveness of that?
All right, let me answer you.
A black political party?
Let me answer you, because I meet you all over the country, wherever I go. I wish that you would pursue Humphrey and McGovern the way you all pursue me. But let me say this, you do your thing and let me do mine. Secondly, the aftermath of the convention at Gary, if you've been reading your papers, you will find there's a great deal of dissension and a great deal of different solutions to a lot of the things that arose. at the convention. And I think that you have to recognize one thing, and people better recognize this, that no ethnic group in this country is necessarily monolithic. Because I'm a black person, wait a minute, no, I've been getting some flack on this, and I'm going to tell it like it is. Because I am black, for example, and they're talking about blackness and what have you, it didn't mean that the blacks would fall behind my candidacy for a lot of different reasons. Some having nothing to do with my femininity, but some having to do with very basic principles. Black males are no different from white males in terms of one very basic thing that is an inculcated value in the society known as America. There's a definite feeling against women in certain areas of endeavor. It's nothing to do with color. Absolutely nothing to do with color. So you can understand that is some of the reasoning in not being back. And then also, I do not play politics the way a lot of them play. The way a lot of black males play it and white males play it. I'm not a wheeler dealer. I can't be a wheeler dealer. And that has stood in my way in terms of professional politicians calling me a pain in the neck because they can't manipulate me. Now, in terms of your party and what have you, is that the party that has the 21-year-old black man running? Well, listen, let me ask you something. At least, why didn't you at least try to meet the constitutional requirements? Because if there are people that really want to vote for you, and there are people that want to vote for you, why didn't you at least try to make the constitutional requirements in terms of being over 35? At least that I don't think that's too smart a political move, but maybe you have a reason for it.
Basically, when we're talking about people's rights, you were speaking about cranial material of, what was it? Cranial material of women versus cranial material of men. Obviously, we realize that men and women are equal in this country. We feel just the same that 21-year-olds, and for that matter, 19 and 18-year-olds, are not less intelligent than 35-year-old males and women. And we feel that they should have the right to run for office just the same as the older people.
Well, you know what you're doing? Permit me for saying this. You're pursuing, to a certain extent, a course in futility. A course in futility, not in terms of your right, to have your party and to have your doctrine, but you have to take your case into court. You know what will happen. I mean, let's stop being so naive about certain things.
I'd like to ask you just one question. What do you think it would be like if a 21-year-old woman were elected to the office of president in this country on a revolutionary socialist ticket, and the Supreme Court decided to throw that out? What do you think people would do? You think they would stand for that?
Well, that's why you're
through a court
all
case?
right. No, well, that's why you're out here. Lots of luck. That's why you're out here. It's a challenge. Your platform, what have you? You're out here, and you'll see what will happen. I mean, you have your right. Everybody has their right to project and do what they feel must be done. But it's very interesting to me with the whole group of you. Why haven't you been pursuing and attacking the other candidates the way you've been doing to me? Why haven't you been doing it? Just tell me why. I'm very curious about this. Here I am, a black person, and of course we always get the shaft. We always get the shaft. Here I am, a black person, moving out here, at least trying to see if the system might be a little bit responsive to me and my people, because there are a lot of my people that still say they want in the system. I'm not standing up here to say I'm the black leader of this country, because I'm not. Why haven't you, as I've gone around this country from campus to campus and from place to place, why haven't you all gone after HHH and McGovern and the others and put out your papers the way you have about me, about them? They're the white males that have been dominating this society. Why doesn't leave me alone for a change? But I know the game. Do your thing and let me do mine.
Oh, wait, Mrs. Chisholm, wait, oh.
Good afternoon and welcome on this day when we honor the March Toward Justice of Dr. Martin Luther King. I'm Deborah Leff. I'm director of the John F. Kennedy Presidential Library and Museum. And on behalf of myself and John Craddock, the CEO of the Kennedy Library Foundation, it's a pleasure to have this overflow crowd as we remember two remarkable women who shared many of Dr. King's ideals and
Huh? That was Shirley Chisholm, female, first Congresswoman.
Good afternoon, and welcome on this day when we honor the March Toward Justice of Dr. Martin Luther King. I'm Deborah Leff. I'm director of the John F. Kennedy Presidential Library and Museum, and on behalf of myself and John Shattuck, the CEO of the Kennedy Library Foundation, it's a pleasure to have this overflow crowd as we remember two remarkable women who shared many of Dr. King's ideals.
Hey, you got your one on down here. What's this? Okay, I got the camera going on. You can go sit over there. There you go. Yeah, this color is brighter. Kind of like blood. You got to set them up like these. Yeah. Like 30 minutes. Man. Omaha, the birds, the bluffs. We were listening to Shirley Chisholm earlier. Shirley Chisholm was a bad woman, boy. She was breaking down the knowledge. She was breaking down the knowledge, and if you feel her fight, her struggle, if we're in the same fight and struggle, then you gotta have me. You gotta vote William King for mayor. You have to vote William King for mayor. If Shirley Chisholm back in 1972, if her words are still relevant today, and which they still are, then you have to vote for William King for mayor. Do you want the same or do you want change? That's all I gotta say. Do you want the same or do you want change? You're gonna get change with me, baby. You're gonna get change over here, without a doubt. And we're gonna make sure that we get the information from the ground up. We'll get it from you. different type of leadership. Different type of leadership have different type of outcomes. We can't continue to allow politicians to come to our communities and use separation as a tool to get votes. You know, everybody want to blame Trump for that, but I blame everybody for that. Every politician that have come to our community, particularly, have used division. And so, to my white brothers and sisters who are in that same economic level that we are on, if your kids are struggling, if you struggling to pay your bill, my white brothers and sisters, I got some white homeboys and sisters. Are y'all for real? Like y'all think y'all different? For real? When I got some white homeboys that have gotten divorced, real life stuff, man. Coach teams, this is real. This is not fantasy, y'all. I'm a former probation officer. I see the case files. I know what happened out east of 72nd Street. See, there's just a suppression of the negativity. See, over here on east of 72nd Street, you know, we call the police more, you know. I mean, we say we don't like the police, but we do call the police. We expect them to show up. There's a love-hate relationship. But don't act like you're perfect out there when I see the case files. I'm a former probation officer. And so a lot of things get suppressed and people act like they're so perfect. But Shirley Chisholm, oh, she's a bad sister. I'm gonna listen to her again. I might have to use some of her stuff. You know, that's why ancestors are there for, you know, for their hard work. We're supposed to glorify their hard work and use their hard work. I'm gonna use some of Shirley. I like Shirley. I mean, because like I said, if you white and you poor, we the same. You got white politicians that got money. They got richer last year. The rich got richer last year. If you are poor and middle class, you didn't get rich last year. Did you get rich last year? I'm talking to because this race is. I mean, are we really going to talk about change, or y'all gonna be watching cartoons? Are y'all watching the Flintstones? Are y'all playing video games, adults? Because you always want to displace it on the young people, or you want to displace it on black people or native people. But we're not making the decisions. We're not. We just got our first black president. My mama voted for the first time in her life. She couldn't even read the ballot. She couldn't even read the ballot. I had to go in there with her and read it for her. And you guys are taking, you want the same. I don't need nobody endorsements. Like Miss Shirley said, I don't need nobody. I'm not begging for nobody endorsement. I got the largest endorsement. I keep telling you who I work for. I work for God. I ain't perfect. But you will get righteousness when it comes to decision making. But you want the same. Like Miss Chisholm says, they don't get the high Negroes. The big Negroes. Got a name. They called me last time, asked me to put my name on some politician. Only time I seen her with this politician time. You ain't tricking me. You ain't tricking me. I'm from a mother that couldn't read or write, that picked cotton for y'all for free. Are y'all serious? You act like I'm a million man marcher. I'm a new dude. I'm a different type. Like LeBron said, we made different. So you want the same. So y'all gonna listen to the big Negroes say we're gonna vote for this politician. Y'all want the same game, baby. You want the same. I got to call like it is. You know, you only live once, right? And so when I die, I don't want to die. We all gotta die though. They don't have to lie. They don't have to lie. They ain't gonna lie about me. They ain't gonna lie about me. You know how they be making up stories when people be dying, be lying. You know the day is Tell the Truth Tuesday. You know, I already got put on Front Street by Brother Melvin, say he beat me in basketball. I lied, said I beat him, but then he said, man, he said, tell the truth Tuesday. How you gonna do? He gonna use the same thing on me that I'm trying to tell y'all. So I had to tell the truth. So I gotta tell the truth, like Miss Shirley said. You know, and there's some truth. There's some male chauvinism with the women. I love the women. I was birthed by my mama. You better not do that with my mama. If you're alive, no male chauvinist stuff over here. We don't play that over here. So y'all males, if y'all allow that kind of stuff, what kind of male are you? You got sisters and aunts. You gonna let a man talk about, man, come on, man, what kind of man are you? You know, one of the things I used to hate growing up, brothers just come down to the court, talk about what they doing with the women, and they lying. They lying in the mud. I hate Muslims do that stuff. They're still doing it. So do you want change or do you want part of the same? Ms. Chisholm said we need to change the game. So that's what we're gonna do here. It is 8:38. Today is Tell the Truth Tuesday. When we came on the air, I was talking about what happened in Norfolk, Nebraska last weekend. The student body of Norfolk called the basketball team of Northwest High School the N-word. I want to say the word so bad. I said it last week. I'm trying to reserve it. They might use it against me. I know you know it's called opposition research. You know, I'm gonna tell you how these political people do it. You know what I mean? So it's called opposition research. That means they research the opposition and they try to find everything negative about the opposition and they try to bring it up at particular times during the campaign, if need to be, if they lose it. Opposition research. That happens. They research and try to find negatives on you. So again, no one's perfect. And again, if we want change, we have to send different people to make different decisions. When elected mayor, my first thing is to make sure we have community meetings to see, to let you know what the budget is going towards, why is it going towards it, and if there's any wiggle room to make adjustments. You have to get that dialogue from you, the citizens. It has to be a bottom-up approach in order to really solve problems. Similar to what the Council of Elders did back in our culture before we got kidnapped. I gotta say it. I know it's harsh words, but today is Tell the Truth Tuesday. Woo, it's a tough day, ain't it? It's a tough day when you hear the truth. So since we've been captured and we haven't got no reparations, and then we allow the same people to come and make promises to us, and then they get about few blacks to sign on to the white politicians. I mean, I gotta say it like it is because the white politicians are manipulating poor white. And this is going to my poor white brothers and sisters because we have way more similarities than dissimilarities. Now, you guys are worried about an eighth of a millimeter of skin. Don't let me go biology on you. You know, I got too many ologies under my belt. Y'all worry about an eighth of a millimeter of skin. I keep telling y'all, if you go outside and you get darker, you black. What's wrong with being black? Y'all go out every summer, everybody trying to get darker. See the hypocrisy? But if you study anthropology, I told you I studied too many ologies. I brags off my education. So you can get a different type of marriage. See, you gotta handle somebody that can handle some words. You know, y'all. I can handle y'all people. I can handle y'all people. If somebody say that to me, I ain't gonna run out the room. You gotta have a man with a sense of humor also. Gonna make you laugh, put a smile on your face. You know, smiling. You know, I work for God. You know, smiling releases chemicals that produces healing. See, I'll be a happy mayor. See, make you smile. You be healing all on TV. I'm smiling, you smiling, everybody healing. Y'all too serious out there. I tell you, I need to play. Y'all need to play a little bit. I know it's cold outside. Don't go outside, y'all. Don't go outside. I came outside just to experiment because you know we're a research station, and I never been out in this cold of the weather. Like I'm telling you, don't do it if you don't have to do it because my nose is still tingling, and I was only outside maybe like about a minute. It's cold outside, but at the same time, I'm changing up that. I think hell is cold. It's cold as hell. You know what they've been teaching is wrong because we can survive in some heat, can't we? All just get some little shade, get some water, and survive some heat. I don't think hell's hot. I think hell is cold. It gotta be cold because you cannot do nothing out there. You can't stay. You will freeze in about 10 minutes. That's hell, boy. That's hell. That got to be hell. I think they flipped the script on it. What you do, Shakespeare. What you do, Shakespeare. We're gonna have fun today, y'all. Today is Tell Truth Tuesday. I'm about to get out of here in a little bit. But for real, you know, they always say when hell freezes over. Are y'all getting with me? It gotta be it's boy, it's hella cold out there, boy. You got to make sure you bundle up. Because I know if you go to hell, I know the only way to be uncomfortable is to be cold. You cannot get comfortable cold. But you get comfortable hot. I was in the sauna, 120 degrees. Turn it up, God. I said, God, turn the heat up, God. I'm in the sauna, sweating. I said, God, turn the heat up. He turned it. He said, come on again. Oh, I said, well, my God answered prayers quick. 120, 150, 140 degrees ain't nothing. But shoot, so let's get to zero. So actually 29 degrees, boy, you can perish in a matter of time. So Omaha, the Burbs, the Bluffs, it is 8:45. We've been listening to Shirley Chisholm. She got me fired up because we are allowing people, and she'll talk to poor white people. She said, why y'all keep doing this? We have way more similarities. We do. I talk about this all the time. Majority of my dunks came from my man Mark Williams, 6'8", white, my homeboy. Throwing me alley-oops. 6'1", tall, dark, handsome. Got it bond. Brothers, man. Anybody know black or white? We don't see no bull stuff like that. When I see him, it's automatically love. We give each other hugs. What's going on? We need leadership that can bring people together. You see how Obama come to the room, he giving everybody high five, brothers, white brothers, everybody. But you know, I ain't saying no names. You hear it over here. I'm not one to gossip. I've been polite, but I'm turning the heat up, y'all. The short sister said he said black men are like white men. That's okay, sister. All right, sister. Well, we gotta readjust because that's why we have Winning Women Wednesday on Wednesday, so we can modify our behavior on how we treat our women. I keep telling you, Mr. Farrakhan teaches that our community cannot raise no higher than the woman. They birth everybody, but yet they are the most abused. All right, Omaha, Nebraska. Today is Tell the Truth Tuesday. It's mad cold right now. It's 18 below zero. But right now it's supposed to get warmer. So around 5 o'clock it's supposed to hit zero. That'll probably be a good time to start the car. It's probably too cold right now. Cars are struggling, but it's gonna struggle at zero, but it's gonna be a lot better than starting it at negative 18. I want to thank God for my car started. Oh man, no problem. Started no problem at all. So I know other cars will be struggling. Again, tomorrow we're on the upper double digits. Low will be zero. High will be 12. Next week we're gonna be in the 30s. I think Mondays it'll be in the 40s. So hopefully this is it. We'll see. We'll see what's going on. I keep telling you that God is on earth and his wife is Mother Nature. And right now, America, the whole America is almost frozen. I think the only spot that's not frozen is my hometown. It's Riverside, California, Southern California, in the desert. But everywhere else is got ice, snow, major cold ice. And so it's like an Arctic freeze. So let us be conscientious of our neighbors. Let's be conscientious how we move today. Let's stay inside today. There's no need to come out. I came out just to make sure that you guys know what's going on, how crucial it is. I was out a minute, and I still feel my face tingling. It's tingling. It'll probably be safer to come out. It'll lead at double digits. Right now, 18. It's going to be in double digits to about 11 o'clock. It is sunny outside. Oh, yes, it is sunny. Oh, the sun is hot. It's so warm up here. Oh, yeah, it is. There is a God, not a doubt. There is a God. The sun is going to be out. It's going to be sunny. So be careful if you're out there shoveling snow. I know some people are going to get out and about, but be careful. After 10 a.m., it's going to drop to single digits. It's going to stay in the single digits. The remainder of the evening, it's going to hover around 1 degrees. So they're just going to travel up on Wednesday. So I know everyone is struggling. There's been some fires already. Make sure You watch those space heaters. Please do not use. People are using propane. Um, what do you call it? Propane heater things with the flame on pipes. Don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, um, if you're gonna have busted pipes, you're gonna have busted pipes, but you don't want to make it worse by creating a fire. There's already been a couple of fires already by using fire to heat pipes inside a house. Fire is supposed to be on the outside of a house. Only controlled fire that you have in a house is from a gas stove in a match or a lighter. But anything else, it should be done by a professional. Welders have those type of propane where they have, the flame on it. Those are professionals for a particular job. You don't do that to heat up pipes, and we do it. I hear about it every year, and people houses and apartments get on fire, and it just displaces everyone. It's too cold to be displaced right now. It really is. So let's be wise on how we use extension cords. Also, I played Minister Nuri yesterday, and he backed up what I said. Well, God is incredible about extension cords and how we should share extension cords from houses when someone, lights were off. I mean, we talked with each other, so we knew what was going on. We didn't want to see no one suffer. But y'all today has too much self pride or point the finger type of attitude where we don't help each other no more. And we got people out here freezing, suffering where they don't need to be. See, these are the ethics that I learned in Hilltop Projects. It always go back. Man, I want to thank my mama so much of the value of actually loving your neighbor, of the value of actually keeping your word. You want people that bring that come with promises that never get fulfilled. What kind of sanity is that? We got to get back to our word is bond. See, y'all don't trust each other. First thing y'all said, I want a contract. I want a contract. You know why? Because they no trust. That's what you're saying. Your word is not bond. We need some ethics back in government. We need some ethics. So you want the same or you want some change? So we're gonna leave like that. Today is Tell the Truth Tuesday. It is the 16th of February. It is 8:54. Again, I want to reiterate. Today is Tell the Truth Tuesday. Tell the truth, but also accept the truth. There's nothing wrong with constructive criticism. Constructive criticism is a show of love. I'm not talking about the criticism that's name calling or chastising or putting people down. We talk about the criticism that's going to build someone up. So if they drinking too much, tell them that they need not to drink so much. If they need help mentally, guide them to services where they can get help. If you are a perpetrator of violence, then accept responsibility for your behavior and seek help. These are the things that need to be talked about in our community without a doubt. And as the pandemic continues to mutate and grow, and it's not going nowhere, y'all. I think God leaving, he ain't going nowhere. We'll be here through the summer. We talked about all time Great New Hope Baptist Church that will be judged one day. Judgment day. Is America being judged? Is the world being judged? I know it's cold as hell here. Woo! It's cold. So God woke me up for sure. So I'm coming here to warn y'all. If you want the same, you're gonna get the same. You vote the same, you're gonna get the same. And to my white brothers and sisters, oh man, I'm appealing to you. Let's look at facts. Let's look at the truth. If you are in the same situation that you were 6 months ago, a year ago, we're the same. Only the rich got richer. If you middle class or poor class, you are in the same class. Those rich white politicians came to y'all also and promised your buddies. They promised the world, buddy, we're gonna do this, buddy. But you're not their buddy. They got a small group. They got a small group of friends. Like everyone have a small group of friends. And as Miss Chisholm said, if you paid by the piper, oh yeah, when the piper come around, you gotta go. So I'm not gonna ask for no endorsement. I keep telling who I work for. I work for God. That's the only endorsement I need. And I need the people vote. Ain't the boy, that combination right there, boy. That combination, that's a bad combination right there. God and the people, we the people. Deadly combination. To beat any endorsement any day. So I'm gonna turn up the heat, y'all. You know, I ain't been talking about too much about my candidacy. We're gonna turn the heat up. Because we gotta go with facts. I'm a facts-driven person. My degree is in behavioral science. I'm a social scientist by education, by training. Yeah, I'm arrogant when it comes to bragging off my education because my mother couldn't read and write. I'm gonna keep reminding y'all that everybody don't have what you got, and you take it for granted. But you want the same. So my white brothers and sisters, we have way more similarities than dissimilarities. I don't think we even really have a dissimilarity. I mean, everybody got, even black people got some dissimilarities. What's wrong with y'all? You're white. I mean, what's wrong with y'all? Don't y'all see the games that those that have money use race and religion to cause separation in order to create division? I'm a social scientist by education, so I know subsets of cultures and how those subsets treat their women. Some subsets of culture treat their women better than others. Some cultures are more violent than other cultures. But we gotta get out of that belief that we're inferior. Bring your people from MIT, Yale, Harvard. Bring them. Eat them up. I'll eat them up from a little tiny little college called Middle Luther College in Fremont, Nebraska. I'll eat them up. Bring them. See, y'all these Google educated. Yeah, y'all Google educated. Y'all don't know how to do nothing for yourself. Y'all, they tell you this and then y'all believe it. Y'all like Google recipients. Y'all know how to go to a library, use a card catalog, look at the numbers, follow directions, research, find the clues, and then when you read one book, then you find, oh, they got a footnote in here. Oh, they got the information from another book. Now you gotta go to another reference. Oh yeah, baby. Google don't do that. You can't span your research with Google. You can't mess with me, Google. See, y'all artificial. Y'all believe and then y'all react. There's no research, there's no investigation at all. Being a former probation officer, I did pre-sentence investigations all the time. You have to investigate. You have to investigate. Even my professors, when they taught us at Midland Lutheran College, they said, and research our research to make sure it's valid. Every paper that I wrote, we had to have footnotes. We had to give credit to the sources of information that we attain to put in our research papers or put in our writings. So we always gave credit to those before us because they had the idea before us to validate whatever hypothesis or theory that we was trying to prove. See, now I can talk educated. I can talk. See, you want me to leave? I can leave Negro. I'm gonna leave Negro, and I'm gonna go corporate. For y'all that's afraid of a tall, handsome black man, I can go corporate too. For y'all that fear self, I'm gonna get rid of all the stereotypes because people have the perception that North Omaha is dangerous. This is just fact, Omaha, the suburb. I'm talking to my peoples out here. You boss listeners, we can talk like that because we gotta have candid conversations in order to change our perception. So if we're gonna really change our situation, we got to send a leadership that's actually going to listen to the people. That's going to take ideals from the people. We get the same politician. We get even new politicians. They follow the same status quo. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. They all sound the same. Don't they sound the same? I'm gonna give me a record player. I look for a record player. See y'all youngins. I'm gonna get a record player so I can teach y'all. See the adults, they ain't teaching y'all nothing. But they sound like a broken record. Every they sound, I got 3 points. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. They're lying. Let's tell the truth to y'all. I know it's tough. They're lying. I'm over here in North Omaha, grew up in Hilltop Project. I'm on 24th Street right now, the most historic area in the city, without a doubt. We got stats. Bring your stats. I compare it with anyone's city. But yet, we poor, and we got the most millionaires per capita, and we got a few billionaires around here, and we got a few Fortune 100 companies, not Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 100 companies in the top 100. We got money around here. We got ching ching, but nobody wants to share. That's the first thing they taught you in kindergarten. Share. Share. This I'm telling you this story. Me and I'm a black man, right? But I got a good relationship with the Republicans. Did y'all know the Republicans was the original party of black people? The Democratic Party is the former slave party that kept black people in slavery in the South. It's just a fact they don't teach it in school, but we're gonna teach it here at 95.7 The Boss. So black people were Republicans, and then my big cousin came along, hooked up with Kennedy. My big cousin, Martin Luther King Jr. Again, my name is William A. King Jr. So my big cousin hooked up with Kennedy. They worked on the legislation, the civil rights, and black people moved from the Republican Party, from the Republican Party to the Democratic Party because of Martin Luther King and his relationship with the Kennedys. But if you look at history, the Southern Party, the Democratic Party, the liberals, you hear them all the time. Even Miss Shirley said the liberals. So who can we trust? Who can we trust? I know these are just cold hard facts. I know that's the reason why they don't want to put it in the history books, because nobody want to deal with the embarrassment. No one would deal with the truth. But how can you get healing when you're not talking truth? How can we truly get healing? All right. So we're going to continue. Make sure you guys stay inside. It is dangerous outside as far as the cold. It's 17 below right now. Again, it's going to be a little bit warmer around 5 o'clock. It's going to drop down to about 0. That's going to be the high today. And so if you want to go outside around that time, that's probably the safest. But right now, man, it is extremely cold where your face will, your extremities will and can freeze. And so we don't want nobody to get stuck or anything like that if you don't have to be outside. So we got one more day, another 24 hours to deal with this. Wednesday, the high is going to be 12. Again, today is Tell the Truth Tuesday. That means you tell the truth, but also you accept the truth. There's nothing wrong with constructive criticism. Criticism is just a sign of love. Omaha, the birds, the blessed, we really appreciate you. Again, I want to thank the speech earlier was by Miss Shirley Chisholm, the first black woman to run for president, as well as the first congresswoman, first black congresswoman. All right. We out of here, y'all. Boss with me. It is 9:09. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Boss with me.
This is a public service announcement.
Are you tired of hearing about the coronavirus? Well, it's me. Don't panic. If you're sick, stay home. And at least 6 feet away from others. Wash your hands frequently and practice good hygiene. We can stop the spread of the virus. So stay home. Stop the spread. Stay dry. Most importantly, let's check on our elders. We're here to keep you informed. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.
Are you a business person fed up with working for someone else? Are you in sales and tired of traveling for and selling for a company you don't know? You could partner with iTex, the country's largest retail trading scheme. iTex helps individuals and businesses increase sales, move idle inventory, open new markets, and build cash flow. Now is a great time to partner with us in this fast-growing business. Visit omaha.itex.com. Become an iTex partner. Visit omaha.itex.com. This is a public service announcement.
Are you tired of hearing about the coronavirus? Well, it's real. want y'all to do a thing. Yo, check this out, man.
Don't panic. If you're sick, stay home. Stay at least 6 feet away from others. Wash your hands frequently and practice good hygiene. We can stop the spread of the virus. So stay home, stop the spread, save lives. Most importantly, let's check on our elderly.
Word up, we ain't going out like that.
We're here to keep you informed. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.
Are you a business person fed up with working for someone else? Are you in sales and tired of traveling for and selling for a company you don't own? You could partner with iTex, the country's largest retail trade exchange. iTex helps individuals and businesses increase sales, move idle inventory, open new markets, and build cash profit. Now is a great time to partner with us in this fast-growing business. Visit omaha.itex.com. Become an iTex partner. Visit omaha.itex.com.
This is a public service announcement.
Are you tired of hearing about the coronavirus? Well, it's real.
What I want y'all to do a thing. Yo, check this out, man.
Don't panic. If you're sick, stay home. Stay at least 6 feet away from others. Wash your hands frequently and practice good hygiene. We can stop the spread of the virus. So stay home, stop the spread, save lives. Most importantly, let's check on our elderly.
Word up, we ain't going out like that.
We're here to keep you informed. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.
Are you a business person fed up with working for someone else? Are you in sales and tired of traveling for and selling for a company you don't own? You could partner with iTex, the country's largest retail trade exchange. iTex helps individuals and businesses increase sales, move idle inventory, open new markets, and build cash profit. Now is a great time to partner with us in this fast-growing business. Visit omaha.itex.com. Become an iTex partner. Visit omaha.itex.com.